Alright, hi guys, and welcome to the second page on the creation of the simple dragon. This page will get into sculpting, and now this is where the fun begins, and we get into actually making the dragon and finishing the sculpt in this class. So there's our good old ZBrush there. ZBrush is one of the best tools. It's the auto retopology tool that takes the Dynamesh, the really heavy sort of diced version of the model, and it auto retopologizes it and makes it into a really lovely sculpt base mesh. So this is fantastic for us to sculpt on. And ZBrush, when you open up the brushes panel, if you've opened it up before, has just hundreds and hundreds of brushes, but it's pretty common knowledge that there's only a few brushes that we really need to know, and there's about 8 of them. And that's what the majority of the sculptors out there use, day to day. These 8 sort of brushes form really the foundation of every single professional sculptor's sort of toolbox. So I'll explain what those are. We'll start going through them and using them on the model. So we're going to create the eyes and go into some of the details. This is sort of a medium level sculpt. This is not a super. We're not going to put on all the details because we're actually going to lose a little bit of detail later on when we do another ZBrush once that mouth's in shape. So this is sort of like a preparation for moving forward into those stages. So then it's onto the mouth, and I've sort of picked this mouth from a croc model that I did, which really demonstrates some of the powerful features of ZBrush and how you can have these very sort of complex forms on a simple model like this, and how easy it is to make some of those shapes. As you can see here, we're just using masking to mask out those forms, and then we're just using the move brush with the Alt key held down. And what that will do is just sort of inflate and pull out the mesh from the normal direction, which it works really beautifully in this case. And we'll just clean the model up a little bit and get ready for the final details. So now that that mouth is finished and in place, we can do another ZBrush, which happens really quickly there. But you can see that the mesh now is a quite low res, nice base mesh that we sort of call a sculpt base mesh. And it's when we have the sculpt base mesh that we can sort of surf up and down the levels, and we can start to add a lot of details and have a lot of control over those details. So knowing when and how to do the ZBrush and planning out your sculpt in your head is actually a really good way of going. So just using some masking techniques and some little tricks here and there to really try and get this model looking quite clean. Now, in a perfect world, you would go back and you would retopologize this by hand and get it all really lovely. But we just want to sort of get a concept up and going and get it back into Maya quickly for a render. So by being able to use a lot of the sculpting tools and clean up the last part of the model, we can start to get a really nice looking dragon with very little effort. So this takes very little time, and we can get it back into Maya fairly quickly, ready for a render. So then it's just a matter of gozing this model back into Maya. And what we're going to do first is we're going to decimate it, which just means that we'll do basically a poly reduce. We'll reduce the polygon so that Maya can handle it. And then we'll bring it back and render it in Arnold Redman and Redshift. And I'll provide you guys with the scenes. We won't actually do the light setup, but you're welcome to download those files and open them up to see what the light setup is. So I hope you enjoyed this class on sculpting the dragon.